The Galactic Council had seen many species rise and fall across the millennia, but none had perplexed them quite like humanity. When the humans finally achieved faster-than-light travel, the Council watched with cautious curiosity as these newcomers stumbled into a universe far older and stranger than they could imagine. Melissa was 6 years old when her father, Ambassador Burak Chen, received the posting that would change both their lives. The Draconian Empire, ancient, proud, and utterly alien, had extended an unprecedented invitation for a human diplomatic family to reside in the Crystal Palace of Velara. It was an honor that made the entire diplomatic corps nervous. "Remember, Melissa," Burak said as their shuttle descended through purple-tinged clouds, "the Draconians are very old, very powerful. We must be respectful." Melissa pressed her nose against the viewport, watching the palace materialize below. It looked like something from her storybooks, all spiraling towers and shimmering walls that seemed to shift colors in the alien sunlight. The Empress Velara herself greeted them in the grand hall. She was magnificent and terrifying, scales that gleamed like polished obsidian, eyes that held the weight of 10,000 years, and a presence that made even Burak's trained diplomatic composure falter. "Ambassador Chen, human child." The Empress's voice rumbled like distant thunder. "You are welcome in our halls. Your quarters have been prepared in the Western Spiral." Their apartments were breathtaking. Walls of translucent crystal, furniture that seemed grown rather than built, and windows that overlooked gardens filled with bioluminescent flowers. But to Melissa, the most interesting feature was the walls themselves. They were smooth, slightly warm to the touch, and almost seemed to invite something. Burak spent his days in endless diplomatic meetings, learning the intricate protocols of Draconian society. Meanwhile, Melissa was left in the care of Sekthar, an elderly Draconian assigned as her guardian. He said little, merely watching her with amber eyes that betrayed no emotion. On the third day, boredom got the better of her. Melissa found her drawing tablets, but they seemed dull compared to the beautiful walls around her. The crystal surfaces practically begged to be decorated. She picked up her favorite purple marker and began to draw. First came flowers, simple childish things with round petals. Then stick figures of her and her father. Then swirls and patterns that just felt right, flowing from her imagination onto the wall in an endless stream of purple ink. She was so absorbed in her artwork that she didn't notice Sekthar's sudden stillness. Didn't see how his eyes widened, how his claws scraped against the stone floor, didn't hear his sharp intake of breath. By the time Burak returned from his meetings, Melissa had covered an entire wall section with her drawings. She beamed with pride, waiting for his reaction. What she got was pure terror. "Melissa, what have you done?" Burak's face had gone pale. Behind him stood 3 Draconian guards, their expressions unreadable but their postures radiating alarm. "I just drew some pictures, Daddy. Don't you like them?" Before Burak could respond, Empress Velara swept into the room. The temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. Every Draconian in the vicinity immediately prostrated themselves. The Empress approached the wall slowly, her massive form trembling. For a long moment she said nothing, merely staring at Melissa's childish artwork. Then she did something that shocked everyone present. She laughed. It wasn't mockery, it was pure, delighted astonishment. "In the name of the first flame," she breathed, "the human child has written the lost verses of Skalthan." Burak's diplomatic training failed him completely. I'm sorry, Your Majesty." "The lost verses of what?" Velara gestured at the wall with one massive claw. "These drawings, as you call them. They are not random marks. This child has somehow reproduced ancient dragon runes, the sacred script of our ancestors lost for 3,000 years. She pointed to what Melissa had thought was a flower. "This is the symbol for growth eternal. And this," she indicated a swirl, "this is wisdom through chaos. And these stick figures? They form the blessing of family bond unbreakable." Sekthar finally spoke, his voice filled with awe. "I have watched for 3 days as the human child played. Today she spent 4 hours writing a complete ceremonial blessing, one we have been trying to reconstruct from fragmentary archaeological records for centuries. She did it while humming." Melissa looked at her purple drawings with new eyes. "But I was just making pretty patterns. They felt right somehow." The Empress knelt down, an act of humility no human had ever witnessed from a Draconian royal. Tell me, human child, when you make these patterns, what do you feel? Melissa thought about it. It's like singing, but with shapes instead of words. Like the walls are helping me know what comes next. Belthora's eyes gleamed with sudden understanding. The palace walls? They are made from memory crystal, infused with the essence of our ancestors. For millennia, we have tried to commune with them, to recover our lost knowledge, but we are too close, our minds too structured. She looked at Burak with newfound respect. Humanity's neural patterns must resonate with the crystal in ways ours cannot. Your daughter hears the songs our own children have forgotten. Over the following weeks, Melissa became an unlikely bridge between species. Under careful supervision, she drew on designated walls while draconian scholars documented her every mark. She recovered rituals, histories, and technical knowledge that had been lost when the ancient dragon homeworld was destroyed. The Galactic Council, hearing of this development, finally understood what made humanity special. Not their strength, not their technology, but their strange ability to connect disparate things, to find patterns where others saw only chaos, to hear songs in silence, to bridge gaps that had seemed unbridgeable. Ambassador Burak watched his daughter laugh with ancient dragons, teaching them their own forgotten language through the universal medium of a child's innocent creativity, and he understood, perhaps for the first time, why the council had been both frightened and fascinated by humanity. They weren't the strongest species. They weren't the smartest, but they had something rarer, the ability to look at the universe with fresh eyes and see possibilities that ancient, wise civilizations had long stopped imagining. Melissa, for her part, was just happy she wasn't in trouble for drawing on the walls.